Okay, so in the last video, I talked about how I realized that 1981 is 34 years ago, and 1934 is 81 years ago. And that's interesting because we've been seeing 34, 43, and 61 all dealing with the Civil War. There's a ton of things. I mean, some examples are the Charleston shooting. Charleston adds up to 43. It was where the Civil War started. Freddie Gray got arrested on April 12th, the same day that it started. Freddie Gray died on April 19th, the same day that the Civil War had its first death. The word Civil War is 43. The kid who shot up the church in Charleston was born on 43. Obama is the 43rd person to be president. I mean, just tons and tons and tons of stuff to do with the Civil War. So, interesting that 1981 is 34 years ago. And I remembered I did this video about Kobe Bryant and his 81-point rigged game because he scored 81 points in a game. And the only other person to do that to score more was Wilt Chamberlain. And I'm going to try to fit all this in here. So it's so ridiculous. I've been talking about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and whatnot. So let's look at Wilt Chamberlain really quick, the guy who has the most points ever in a single game. So first thing I notice, he played for the Philadelphia Warriors at the time that he got the 100 points. So we've been talking about Philadelphia, and they just won the NBA Finals this year, 122 days after Valentine's. San Francisco adds up. They were the San Francisco Warriors at one time too, but San Francisco adds up to 122. Pope Francis adds up to 122. Pope Francis is coming to Philadelphia when he visits in the 20th of September. But anyway, the game was played on March 2nd of 1962. So March 2nd is the 61st day of the year. So that Civil War, 1861, tons of 61, Obama born in 61. And then it was 1962. 62 I've talked about with the Queen, just tons of stuff with the Queen. Became Queen on 2/6, turned 26 that year, was coronated on 6/2, just 52 years ago. Just there's all kinds of stuff with it. But anyway, this game, so March 2nd, 1962, and I'm not going to pull it up just yet, but Kobe Bryant's 81-point game was on 1/22 of 2006. So literally, Bryant scored 80 points 43 years after Wilt Chamberlain had 100 points. So there's a 43, all 22. Like I said, he for the Philadelphia Warriors, who were also the San Francisco Warriors, and then they were the Golden State Warriors, and they won 122 days after Valentine's Day. Then I talked about why Valentine's is significant since the All-Star game. But also Philadelphia Experiment, the movie or whatever. But so Kobe scores 81 on 122. And since we've been talking about 923 like crazy, I just did 122 to 923 of this year. And it's 244 days, but also 8 months, 1 day, kind of like 81. And Kobe scored 81 points. Also, 34 weeks, 6 days. So we got 34 and an 81. So whatever he scores, 100 points, 43 years before Kobe Bryant gets his 81. But let's look at his 101 points, or 100-point game here. It says, the Knicks were shorthanded with their starting center, Phil Jordan. I mean, I'm talking about Phil and then Michael Jordan like crazy. So, and then you got Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan. Pretty interesting. This guy's name's Phil Jordan. He's out sick, supposedly with the flu, but it's expected he was hung over. But you read through here, Jordan in an earlier season game had played Chamberlain even, scoring 33 points to the Warriors center 34. So that means earlier in the season, Wilt Chamberlain only scored 34 before he got his 100. Interesting. So another 34, 43 mirror. And the guy who replaced him, it says, was a strong defensive player in college who led the California Golden Bears to the NCAA championship in 1959. And I talked about 59 and black people. So interesting that the guy they replaced him with was the 59 champion. And then later on, you find out about the game. He had 100 points, and there's 46 seconds left. Been seeing that a lot too around Obama and George Bush. But anyway, it says he just like stood in the middle circle waiting for the game to end, not wanting to touch the ball, as 100 sounded better than 102. I mean, really? So he was supposed to score 100. That was the whole point, you know? I mean, but anyways, the other guy said he was hoping that Chamberlain would get 102 points. But the 102nd day of the year is April 12th, the same day that Freddie Gray got arrested, the same day that the Civil War began. I mean, and then he got 34 points before, and I showed about how 34 and 43 all go with the Civil War and Abe Lincoln. And I mean, they even mention the word century instead of 100 points. They say, with 46 seconds left, Chamberlain got free from the 5 Knicks, jumped high and put the ball into the basket to hit the century mark. I mean, the word century adds up to 34 and 106. Interesting, because we've been talking about both of these numbers, especially 10-6 is the 923, all to do with Obama, and of course 34. I mean, what are the odds of that? And it says, for years, the belief was that the final 46 seconds of the game were not played after Chamberlain scored his 100th point due to the celebration on the court. Chamberlain himself was quoted as having made that claim. However, recordings from the WCA radio broadcast include announcer Bill Campbell resuming his play-by-play call after Chamberlain's 100th point and calling the game to its conclusion. So the guy who called the game was Bill Campbell. And of course, he died last year on 10-6. I mean, give me a break. And then it says a copy of the radio broadcast of the game was only uncovered in 1988. Wow, what a year to uncover it. Even says that they only scored 169 points in the game as a team, and they fell short of the record of the Boston Celtics scoring 173 points in a game. 173 is the 34th prime number. Also, it says this game was on March 2nd, and they played the Knicks. And then it says on March 4th, the Warriors played the Knicks again in Madison Square Garden. And Imhoff got a standing ovation for holding Chamberlain to 58 points. But they played again on 3-4. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's got to either be a fake article or everything is just so rigged, it's not even funny. So I want to look at just Wilt Chamberlain in general. So he was born on August 21st and died on October 12th. That is a span of, he died 61 days after his birthday. I mean, go figure, 61. It's all about the Civil War. He played for the Philadelphia/San Francisco Warriors, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Los Angeles Lakers. He also played for the University of Kansas. I just talked about Kansas and how I think that they're going to do something in Kansas because Kansas City adds up to 122, just like San Francisco. The Pope is coming to Philadelphia. The Pope adds up to 122. He's named after the same guy that San Francisco got its name from. The Kansas Jayhawks, the college is even in Lawrence, Kansas. I talked about that in a couple videos back about Lawrence and the Civil War. And Lawrence adds up to 81. I mean, give me a break. Also adds up to 36. And Wilt Chamberlain was born in 36, and he died at age 63, the mirror. So then I talked about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and all that, and how he's from West Philadelphia. I mean, literally what happens, he's playing basketball, and he has to get sent to Bel-Air to go live with his aunt and uncle because he's going to get in trouble. So he's from West Philadelphia. Look at Wilt Chamberlain. Born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Died in Bel-Air, California. Really? He's the Fresh Prince. I mean, And then Bel Air is even on 34 degrees north. I mean, so there's a 34. And his name's Wilton, right? Like Will Smith. I mean, so Wilt Chamberlain, Will Smith, Philadelphia, and Bel Air. He's the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I mean, if you don't believe that, so they have the same Will name. They're both born in Philadelphia. And then Will is Los Angeles, I guess. I think Bel Air is in like the suburb or whatever of Los Angeles. So West Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Bel Air, and then he went to this high school, Overbrook. But guess what? So did Will Smith. Will Smith went to Overbrook High School. Same high school. I mean, look at all these numbers that add up here. So the Fresh Prince adds up to 154, kind of like in England or whatever, Europe they'd write it 15-4, 415. That's the day that Abraham Lincoln died. The Fresh Prince of Bel Air is 222. The first day of Lupercalia, 2923, is 222 days. There's a whole bunch with 222 I've talked about previously. Just the word Fresh Prince adds up to 121. Just like the high school. The high school adds up to 121. Just like the word Valentine's adds up to 121. Just like Revelation adds up to 121. Interesting about these 3 days too, or these 3 words, they all add up to 121, 67, and 49. So I don't know. It's pretty weird. I actually typed in overlook, and it came to 113, and that's funny because Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant are both add up to 113. Anyway, his real name is Wilton Norman Chamberlain. And in simple gematria, it adds up to 254. That's crazy because that is 254th day of the year is September 11th. And then in Pythagorean gematria, it adds up to 110. And the World Trade Center they were 110 stories high. Osama bin Laden adds it to 110. It was proposed by a Rockefeller, approved by a Rockefeller to build the World Trade Center. Rockefeller adds to 110. Adolf Hitler adds up to 110. Was also born on the 110th day of the year. Died exactly 19 years before the Church of Satan was founded in San Francisco. Also a few other ones. Ronald Reagan adds to 110. Columbine happened on the 110th day of the year. And one thing I actually forgot to mention about Kansas was, so it's in Lawrence, but one of the guys famous for Lawrence of Arabia just died today. And really looked that much into it, just thought of it. I heard it on the radio this morning on the way to work. And I know I talked about this film, at least, a long time ago. And 1962 is when it came out. But this was the guy. His name adds up to 108 and 54. 54 is the same as love. Talked about that tons of times. 108 can be like 10-8, which is there's 84 days left until the end of the year. And Obama, born on 8-4. Even more interesting than Lawrence of Arabia is actually based on the real life of this guy, T.E. Lawrence. And I'm assuming what I talked about before was the August 16th date, the Jam 816, and also the 1888. But look at this guy, his name in gematria, T.E. Lawrence. Adds up to 43 and 106. Really? And then if you do his full name, he must go by T.E. Lawrence, but if you put his full name, Thomas Edward Lawrence, it comes to 86 and 212. 212 is the 43rd day of the year. Also, 86 is 10-6. There's 86 days left until the end of the year. He also got to start playing with the Harlem Globetrotters, and Harlem Globetrotters up to 89, just like the Queen and everything else. He also played in high school, the Overbrook Panthers. Overbrook Panthers adds to 222. It also says he scored 34 points and won Overbrook the public league title and a berth for the Philadelphia City Championship game, winner of this. So, interesting. 34 points. It also says in his NBA debut, let's see here, his first NBA game against the New York Knicks, the rookie center scored 43 points and grabbed 28 rebounds. So 34, 43 mirrors, whatever. Also, he played the Knicks, and that's the team that he played when he got his 100 points. Also, his nickname was Wilt the Stilt, and that adds up to 171 or 177 and 51. 51, I talked a ton about with Kanye West and gay marriage. Also, 177 is June. 177th day is June 26th, the day gay marriage was legalized. So interesting. Also, if you just do the stilt, it's 113, just like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Oh man, so it was in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I actually talked about Hershey, Pennsylvania. His 100-point game or whatever, Hershey, Pennsylvania. I actually talked about that a long time ago with the guy who owns it, died at age 88, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. The Hershey's bar that I bought at Walmart made my receipt, I can't even remember, made my receipt my amount go to like 100, I don't even know, 1188 or something like that. I can't even remember, but he scored 100 points. He shot 36 of 63 from the field. Now remember, he was born in 1936 and died at age 63. So he's known for his 100-point game, and he shot 36 of 63, and he was born in 36 and died at the age of 63. Give me a break. Even says his extraordinary feats in 1962 were later subject of the book Wilt, 1962, by this guy. He used Chamberlain as a metaphor for the uprising of Black America. In addition to Chamberlain's regular season accomplishments, he scored 42 points in the 1962 All-Star game, still the all-time record. Now, go figure 42, because black people are surrounded by 59 and 42. All these famous black people. Jackie Robinson wore number 42. It's just, Chamberlain was drafted in 59, scores 42 in this game. I mean, come on. This guy wrote the book, basically talks about his career, and it says, spent nearly 2 decades as a daily journalist. In 1981, 34 years ago, he followed these guys. He also lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. He even has a book about a husband killing and sensational murder trial or whatever in Kansas City that I've talked about before, this 122. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I read some other stuff. It's just not even going to talk about it really. I want to move on to the Kobe Bryant thing. That was what the original thing I wanted to do. I'm just going to make a separate video because it's going to be way too long if I add them together. So anyway, have a great night.